The NASCAR Cup Series heads to Watkins Glen International Speedway, and we see a lot of chaos, rain racing, and also a really good battle near the end of the race with the driver picking up their second victory of the 2022 season. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Cup Series race from Watkins Glen International Speedway, the Gold Bowling at the Glen. Definitely a lot to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So, before the green flag dropped in today's race, the race actually got delayed at the start due to lightning. Rain was definitely in the forecast coming in this weekend for the race, but the race actually got delayed for about 2 or 3 hours. They actually tried to get on the racetrack to get on the track for some rain racing, but the track was too wet, so they had to delay the start of the race once again. And at around 4 o'clock this afternoon, they finally got racing. A bunch of drivers would have to start at the rear of the field. This included Kyle Busch and Chris Bell, who had engine issues. William Byron, Dana Kvyat, Ty Gibbs, Cody Ware, and Kyle Tilley would all have to drop the rear for unapproved adjustments as well. So on the start of the race, you had Chase Elliott lead the field of basically single file because they started the race single file, and Chase Elliott had the race lead, and Chase Elliott had the lead at the beginning and led a few laps. Then on lap number 2, we had contact between AJ Allmendinger, who got spun by Austin Center. AJ was not very happy on the radio, justifiably so. And then on that same lap as well, Harrison Burton and Corey LaJoie also spun out in turn number 1 as well. Then eventually Michael McDowell got around Chase Elliott for the race lead and started to pull away. Then we basically saw Justin Haley come back down pit road, basically reattached a window nut on his car. Then Kyle Larson was running 4th at the time, had to basically come to a stop near the bus stop because he basically missed the bus stop, meaning he had to go to a stop and drop back multiple positions. Then eventually, because they basically waited so long to go racing, we got to dry tires around lap 7 and 8, and all the guys on dry tires came down pit road. Because of all the guys staying out way too long, eventually the lead was inherited by Michael McDowell and Chase Briscoe. But then Chase Briscoe got around Michael McDowell for the race lead, and Chase Briscoe stayed out. Meanwhile, Michael McDowell and I believe Chris Buescher also came down pit road as well. And then eventually Chase Briscoe would come off the final corner and win stage 1 here at Watkins Glen. We see a bunch of drivers come down the road, this including Denny Hamlin, Daniel Suarez, Eric Jones, Tyler Reddick, and Chase Briscoe, while a lot of the other leaders stayed out. So on the restart, you had Todd Gillen lead the field from the outside and Joey Logano on the inside, and Todd Gillen got a great restart and took the race lead. Then going to turn number 1, Todd Gillen had a major issue, got really loose, and then we found out that he would lose the lead because he had a broken axle. Todd Gillen, unfortunately, would take his car to the garage and unfortunately fall out of the race. After leading the race, Todd Gillen's chance of going to victory lane after really doing good on this race, he unfortunately fell out of this race. Then on lap 32, about 4 laps later, we had contact between Tyler Reddick and Mike Rockefeller. Both had issues in the inner loop. There would be no caution for that, though. And then we start seeing some pit stops in the race where guys like Mark Truex Jr., Kimi Räikkönen, Larice Hasemans, and Corey LaJoie would all pit basically before the stage break. Corey LaJoie would get a penalty for basically removing equipment as the gas can was still attached when he drove away. He would get a penalty. But because of that, Joey Logano would hold off Kyle Busch, who was second at the time, and he would win stage number 2. Then a lot of the drivers that stayed out would come down pit road. This included Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, Ty Dillon, and Cole Custer, including also Chase Briscoe as well. We all took 4 tires, while the rest leaders basically stayed out. And then basically on the restart, Michael McDowell lead the field from the inside with Chase Elliott on the outside. And we saw basically Chase Elliott and Michael McDowell battle really hard. Meanwhile, on the restart of the race going into the bus stop, we see the first caution for incident in this race when there was some contact between Ross Chastain and Austin Dillon. Chastain once again getting involved in another wreck with somebody. He gets into Austin Dillon. Then Kimi Räikkönen basically had some contact on the outside tire barrier. He would get into the outside tire barrier really hard, bringing out the caution in this race. Feel really bad for Kimi Räikkönen because Kimi Räikkönen, he had a really good run going. He exceeded expectations most of the day, was running a lot of races inside the top 10, so such a shame for Kimi Räikkönen's first race to kind of go away. I really hope Kimi comes back and runs more. It's a shame what happened to Kimi. So then on the restart, Michael McDowell lead the field from the inside with Chase Elliott on the outside, and we saw Chase Elliott then eventually get around Michael McDowell a lap later and get to the race lead. Then we saw some green flag pit stops. Guys like Joey Hand, Tyler Reddick, Stenhouse came in early. And then we saw Michael McDowell and Kyle Larson, who was second and third at the time. They would come down pit road. And then eventually the rest leaders would all come down pit road as well, with Chase Elliott coming down. Some guys would stay out a lot longer. We actually saw some spins between Ross Chastain and Chase Briscoe in the bus stop, but no caution would come out from that. Then eventually, we also saw some other guys spin. Cody Ware had some issues, but then eventually, after all that chaos happened, when 19 laps ago, Chase Elliott got around Austin Dillon for the race lead. Then a few laps later, Kyle Busch, who was running in around 9th position at the time, having a pretty decent day and was going to get a lot of points. He would spin from the exit of turn number 1 and got into the inside wall, basically getting a ton of damage on the driver's side of his door, but no caution would come out, but he get a ton of damage. And what looked like was going to be a very easy Chase Elliott win, as Chase Elliott had a 2-second lead. The caution would come out because of Joey Hand. Joey Hand basically really just wheel hopped the corner, had some major issue on his car, and went back into the corner, hit the outside tire barrier, bringing out the caution. I think the caution was a little bit questionable, but I think the theory is probably that the tire barrier was basically moved out. I think that's why they probably threw the caution, but a little bit questionable call. They threw it so quick, but because of this would change the race drastically. And then a bunch of leaders would stay out while William Byron, Justin Haley, Corey LaJoie were some of the guys that came down pit road. Then with 9 laps ago, we went back racing with Chase Elliott leading the field from the outside, with Kyle Larson on the inside. And we saw Kyle Larson get a great restart, but Chase Elliott hung on to the race lead. And then the final caution in the race would come out with 9 laps to go for LaRace Hasemans, who spun into the gravel trap basically on his own in the Hagesburg's car, would spin into the gravel trap and basically get stuck in the gravel trap, bringing out the caution. And then we go back racing with 5 laps to go, with Chase Elliott leading the field from the outside, with Kyle Larson on the inside. Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson both would get really, really good restarts, but Larson would get an incredible restart and would get up there and get in the Chase Elliott, forcing Chase Elliott wide, and Kyle Larson got to the race lead and pulled away. We'll talk about that near the end of the race, my thoughts on it. But Kyle Larson would then have to hold off a really hard charge in AJ Allmendinger, just like he did yesterday. AJ tried to close into the S's, but he would fall too far back, and coming off the final corner after basically getting the win with 5 laps to go, Kyle Larson has been winning for the last 23 or 24 straight races. He comes off the final corner and picks up and sweeps the weekend and picks up his second victory of the 2022 season, gets a lot of momentum and a lot of confidence heading into the playoffs. Now, before I talk about Kyle Larson, I want to talk about the move. I'm going to see a lot of people that are complaining about the move that Kyle Larson made. Maybe it was a little bit over-aggressive, but to me, it was just a racing deal. Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott are my 2 favorite drivers, so I really do not care one way or the other if Chase Elliott or Kyle Larson won, or even AJ Allmendinger for that matter. I really do not care who won that race. But the move to me was just a racing incident. You're racing hard for the win, and Chase Elliott, maybe he's a little frustrated inside, but in his post-race interview, he didn't seem too angry or too frustrated after basically talking to Rick Hendrick and Jeff Gordon. But I can understand Chase Elliott being frustrated and upset. I think Chase Elliott has a right to be frustrated and upset with the situation. But to me, I think that was just a racing incident, and Kyle Larson got the win. Now let's transition to Kyle Larson. Congratulations to Kyle Larson on picking up the victory. It's been a long time. Last race for him was Auto Club, but he's getting a lot more confidence. Won the Xfinity Series race yesterday. I believe this is the first time he swept the NASCAR Cup Series weekend, and a pretty big weekend to do it too as well. Great to see Larson get the victory. Did he have the best car today? No, in my opinion, he did not have the best car, but I think he had the best car outside of Chase Elliott. I think Elliott probably had a better car than Larson most of the day, but he had a good enough car to be up front, got us a good run, and gets a win. And fair play to him. He was there all day, was in the right position, right time, and you got to do what you got to do. So congratulations to Kyle Larson on picking up the victory and getting his second win of 2022. So now we're going to go through the results of today's race and then give you my score of today's race. So Kyle Larson picks up the victory. AJ Allmendinger finishes second. AJ was really kind of quiet most of the first half of this race, but in the second half, he really came to life, and I thought he was going to have a legitimate shot at winning this race. But still a really strong run from AJ, a really strong second-place finish. I think he almost got in the top 5 at Coda, but got taken out there. But got a really strong run today. He finishes second. Joey Logano with a very strong third-place finish. Picked up some pretty important points with that stage win. Gets a really strong top 5 finish. Great run from Joey Logano. Chase Elliott finishes 4th. Elliott had probably the best car overall today, in my honest opinion, but still a top 5 run regardless. It's going to be disappointing, but he also has clinched a regular season championship, by the way, so congratulations to him on that. But he finished 4th. He's definitely going to be frustrated because he had the best car. If those cautions don't come out, Larson doesn't have a chance to beat him, but gets a very strong 4th place finish regardless. Daniel Suarez finishes 5th. Suarez had a pretty good day. quiet day, but ran top 10 majority of the day in the 99 car. Never really saw him ran outside the top 10. He's been consistently having a quiet, consistent year, even though he won, and people say he really deserved to be there. He had a really good run today. He finishes 5th. Michael McDowell finishes 6th. McDowell actually probably had a top 3 car. I think he had the 3rd best car today, but unfortunately in one of the later restarts, he kind of got trapped behind a couple cars, had a really bad restart and kind of dropped back, but still gets a really strong 6th place finish. McDowell's going to be one to watch when we go to Daytona for sure, and a great run from McDowell. He finishes 6th. Tyler Reddick, who actually spun out, he bounced back to 7th. Reddick kind of had an up and down day today for sure. Did lead a couple laps in this race, but does get a very solid top 10 finish at 7th. Great recovery from Tyler Reddick. Christopher finishes 8th. Bell was really quiet most of the day, but he was the best finishing Toyota. He gets a very decent 8th place finish. Good to see a Toyota actually having a good run today. He finishes in 8th. Chris Buescher, once again, another good run on a road course. Chris Buescher's been always good on road courses this year. Gets a 9th place finish. He was one of my underdog picks coming into the weekend. He finished 9th. Solid run. And Eric Jones. How about Eric Jones finishing in 10th position? Eric Jones has been up and down throughout his career on road courses, but when you come here, he's usually really good. So he gets a very solid top 10 finish, a 10th place run for Eric Jones. Good run from him. Cole Custer finished 11th. I want to give Cole Custer a lot of credit today. Cole Custer had a pretty good run, ran top 20 majority of the day. I've given a lot of crap to Cole Custer, and with the future of Stewart-Haas Racing kind of still in question at the moment, see Cole Custer have a pretty solid run. 1st place finish, not a bad run from Cole Custer, and he's been a little more consistent. Kevin Harvick finishes 12th. Kevin struggled most of the day, ran outside the top 20 a lot today, but to get a top 15 and 12, saw a run from Kevin Harvick. Austin Cindric finishes 13th. Kind of surprised to see Austin Cindric struggle as much as he did today. He never really was a factor, never ran inside the top 5 at all today. So, really disappointing run from Austin Cindric, but he finishes 13th. Alex Bowman finishes 14th. Bowman was quiet most of the day. He got a 14th place finish. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finished 15th. Fair play to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. today. He did decent. He's not historically great on road courses, so to get a top 15, that's a pretty solid run. Ty Dillon finished 16th. Another week where Ty Dillon's had some pace and some speed. Was pretty good at Richmond. Was around top 15 a majority of the day for the 42 team. Ty Dillon also looking for a ride heading into next year. He gets 16th. Not a bad run. Austin Dillon finishes 17th. Not a bad run from him. Just Haley finishes in 18th. That win and that kind of stuff kind of cost him because he was in the top 10 early. Shame he didn't finish as good as he could have, but he does get 18th. Brad Keselowski finishes in 19th. Denny Hamlin, who really struggled most of the day, was a lap down because he got trapped a lap down with the rain tires. He had a pretty horrendous day. He finishes in 20th. Ross Chastain, after having multiple issues in the race, he finishes 21st. Tough break for him. William Byron struggled today as well. He finishes in 22nd. Mark Truex Jr. was terrible today. Finished 23rd. Mark Truex Jr. is now about 30 points back of Ryan Blaney. He is going to absolutely need to win Daytona to make it in the playoffs, which is disappointing considering what's happened, but he finished 23rd. Not a good run. Ryan Blaney finishes 24th. Blaney also struggled most of the day, which I expected Blaney to be better today. He finished 24th, though. Chase Briscoe, who actually won a stage, had issues late, finished 25th. Not a great run of the day for Chase Briscoe. Ty Gibbs finished 26th. Very disappointing for Ty Gibbs. I'm not going to lie. He really struggled. I think the damage from the car before the race happened today really played a factor into that. He finished 26th. Kind of disappointing for Ty Gibbs. But again, Ty Gibbs is just there to get experience. He's out there to get experience. You do what you got to do. He finished 26th. Corey LaJoie finishes 27th. Harrison Burton finishes 28th. Eric Almirola, who usually is bad on road courses, finished 29th. 30 for Mike Rockefeller. Not a great run, but not a terrible run. Joey Hand, who basically crashed in the tire barrier. It's a tough break for Joey because Joey Hand actually had a top 15 car today, was in the top 5 a lot of the day. It's a shame he couldn't finish what he started. Kyle Busch, after getting into the outside wall, finished 32nd. Again, Kyle Busch has had a terrible summer. Had a really good day today going, too. It's a shame because Kyle Busch would have gotten a consistent top 10 today without that wreck. But it's a shame what happened to Kyle. One top 10 in the last 10 races. Just a bad stretch for Kyle Busch. He's going to have to turn it around. Maurice Hazelens, who brought out the final caution, he finishes in 33rd. Cody Ware finishes in 34th. Bubba Wallace had some suspension issues, I guess. He finishes in 35th. Tough break for Bubba. This is the first time Bubba Wallace has finished outside the top 15 since the previous road course race at Road America. He'll be looking to win Daytona to make it in the playoffs. He finished 35th. Danny Kvyat finishes in 36th. Kimi Räikkönen finishes 37th. Again, this was Kimi Räikkönen's first ever NASCAR Cup Series start. It's a shame he didn't finish where he probably should have finished. Kimi had a great race going. It's a shame what happened to him. Like I said, I really hope Kimi comes back and runs more races because it's definitely fun for sure for him to come back He finished 37th. Todd Gillen, after his issues, tough break for him, finishes 38th. And Kyle Tilley, who really was a non-factor at all today, he finished 39th. So now I'm going to talk about the overall race as a whole and give you my score of today's race. This is objectively the best road course race of the season so far, and one of my favorite races of 2022. Stage 1 was absolutely chaotic. There was so much chaos and so much craziness in this race. You really did not know what was going to happen at the end. And we've talked about this year too, but the road courses have been kind of a struggle this year. So for a road course race to be really, really good despite the delay, we got what we paid for and got a very solid race. And a great finish to end it off as well, I might add. This is a really, really great and solid race. I'm giving today's NASCAR Cup Series race from Watkins Glen a 9 out of 10. I would have given us a perfect score if there's a little more that happened in stage number 2, but stage 1 and stage 2 were really good, and stage 3 was very, very solid for sure. Today's NASCAR Cup Series race from Watkins Glen, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. So anyway, that is going to be it for today's NASCAR Cup Series race view from Watkins Glen. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on to be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Link description below over that, and comment your thoughts on today's race. What are your thoughts on today's race? Let me know below. Let me know your score in the comments below, and congratulate Kyle Larson on picking up his second victory of 2022. Let me know in the comments below. Also, one thing to note below is I actually have added a join button below in the description. If you want to join the channel, I've got some perks you'll basically be able to entitle into. And if you want to click that join button to join the channel, I would definitely appreciate the support. I'll probably talk about it more in a live stream coming up here. If you want to click that join button, it's not much. I definitely would appreciate support. And it's to all those people that have supported the channel. Got a lot of content also coming out this week. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So I'll see you guys there for more great content. Take care, everybody.